So, welcome to my 80s, and here we are, and there's just a few things that I want to share with you, different things, but to start with, on my kombucha, and you saw, if you watch the video, dancing on the ceiling, and I think we're going to have to repaint. I've tried a couple of things to get it off. It's pretty well up there. It's lighter, it's not as dark, but it's still up there. And then, of course, you saw, if you watched that one, that, well, anyway, I tried it again, and outside to open it, of course, it behaved beautifully. The only thing is, I want to tell you, I had put blueberries, grated apples, and a cinnamon in each bottle, and I didn't get it soft enough where it was a problem getting it out. I dug it out with chopstick, tweezers, and kept pouring water in, and that's what's in here, and I got it out. So the next time I do this, whatever I put in is going to have to be juicier. So I'm going to take that away, and then I want to say that when you all reacted to my sardines that I ate, my subscriber in Tasmania, Marie Louise, she took it as a challenge, and she tried 3 different ways to eat them, and finally she came up with a way that she could do it. And she wanted me to try it, and because it has potatoes in it, we wanted to see if it would bump my sugar. So I took my sugar beforehand, and it was at 99. In 2 hours, it's supposed to be 140. Well, it was, and I don't think it would have been that high, but I passed the fig tree, and I failed the test, and I ate a fig. And besides that, it was not the fig tree in the back, but it was the one in the front yard that has got its first crop of figs ever, and the birds planted it, and it is so sweet, much sweeter than the one in back. It's not a dark fig, it's a sort of a, well, it's different anyway. So we got 2 different fig trees, and oh my. Anyway, so I want to tell you what she did to make it work for her. She took the sardines, she mashed them up, and this is not like 1/4 a cup, 1/2 a cup. So if you try this, you're going to see what you're going to do. Okay, so she took her sardines and mashed potatoes, some Parmesan cheese, Worcestershire sauce, and mayonnaise with a lot of mustard in it, and black pepper, and then she formed those into patties and rolled them in breadcrumbs and fried them. Okay, then I was to try to make it work for me and not bump my sugar, which I say stayed within the range. Okay, so what I did, I took my can of salmons, and this particular can that I used, wait just a minute if I can find one, is in marinara sauce. So it, and by the way, I want you to know, I eat these kinds in these little cans. They come in big oval cans, and the sardines are much bigger. I can't handle those, and especially the ones in the red sauce. But for these brand, for some reason, I can. And they're much smaller. See, the whole little thing is fit in there, and they're a little small. And so I took mine, and then I had a 1/2 a potato that had been cooked, and I mashed it, put it in. I put my Parmesan cheese in. I don't have any Worcestershire sauce, so that was skipped. And for some reason, I forgot the mayonnaise. But I added an egg, And then because I knew my potato was not very much, I put in the potato starch, which is the resistant starch that is supposed to help the blood sugar, and I put that in. And actually, when I formed it into a patty, I put more of that potato starch. Did I call it cornstarch? It's potato starch. I put that potato starch on it, and then I fried it in some coconut oil. Since I forgot the mayonnaise in the inside, I put a little mayonnaise on top when I ate it, and yes, they are edible, and yes, it turned out well, and yes, it didn't bump my sugar. Oh, one other thing I did, and I won't do it again, I put in some of my herb spices, and I put the zippy one in because, you know, foods that, like jack cheese, all of the hot cheeses that they make, usually it's because something is sort of inferior. And what you're tasting is not the inferior, but you're tasting the hot, spicy. And it makes it good and edible. So in case, you know, it didn't turn out, I wanted it to be hot and spicy. But it made it so Tom couldn't eat any. So that was my mistake, and next time I won't do that because I think they would be quite edible without that zippy in there, unless you really want it. And so that's what. But I'm still sure that a lot of you are saying, ugh, no way am I going to do that. So I want to talk about something else. And remember, I eat the, wait just a minute. I eat the sardines because of the omega-3. But you know, chia seed, omega-3, much easier to eat. It's an antioxidant, it's got protein in it, calcium, it has vitamin A, B, and E, and even some D, and minerals. Phosphorus, manganese, again calcium, and potassium. So it is a really, really good little seed. And I'm just going to make it into a pudding, and I'm going to show you how. And it's super easy. You put in about 1/3 of a cup. This is a 1/2 cup. I don't, in these rounded ones, I don't have a 1/3 cup measure. So that's an estimate. And I wish I had a glass bowl, but there are the seeds in there. And then I've got a can of coconut milk, and I want the creamy kind. I don't want the light kind, so this is not the light kind. And I'm going to take my handy dandy can opener, which if you don't use an electric can opener, this is the way to go. Because I'll show you. I think I'm all the way around. Okay. It just picks up off the top, and I've done a video on that to show you, and there it is. And here I am without my little spatula again. I should have it hung over here someplace. Okay, then you just put that in, the whole can, and there it is. And I want to whip it up. Lots of times they're thicker than this one, and you would really have to mix. Okay, then all those blueberries that were in the bottom of my kombucha, I am going to put in here because you have to put a can of water. You got to fill this up with water, and I'm going to get it out of the filtered water from my refrigerator to fill it up. Okay, and then that's going to go in here. And later on, aha, I think I had a helper here. Okay, because I had my blueberries out. They're not blueberries. I'm going to put blackberries and just a bit of honey. And the reason, I guess it's peer pressure on the honey, because you may be eating some of this, and I think you'd like it a little sweeter than me. Plus the blackberries, I've tasted them, and they're not, I think they could have been a little riper when they picked it. But before I do that, I want this to sit in the refrigerator an hour, and then I'll add the honey, blackberries, or you could put blueberries, strawberries, or you could just cinnamon, nutmeg, spices, or some people put cardamom. So that's, I'm going to show it to you later, but right now we're going to end the video with that, and that's, I'm sure you can't see it. I'll let you look at it when I'll bring it over. And that's it for today, and then I'll show you the next video, hopefully, what it turns out to be. And that, believe it or not, 1 or 2 ounces is going to give you a lot of nutrition. And there, it doesn't look very good, and that's it. But the next time you see it, it will be a thick, thick pudding. So, have a good day, survive, and do more than survive, do well.